Alright, so last night during UFC 326, the White House card was revealed, with the main event being Topuria Gaethje and the co-main being Pereira versus Gan for the interim heavyweight championship. And the rest of the card was revealed to be this: Topuria Gaethje, Pereira versus Gan, O'Malley versus Zahabi, Rufi versus Chandler, Nicol Dawkins, and Lopez Garcia. And I don't know about you, but this is absolutely just like Dana White has to be trialed for his lies. This guy said this will be the greatest thing, the greatest card ever. It will make the sphere look like whatever chump change or whatever the hell, or like the budget will. And it's like you're gonna like he's like we're gonna put on the best card ever. This is far from that. This is absolutely a joke compared to what Dana White was hyping it up to be. And I'm going to explain why I think that. And before we get into it, please like and subscribe, really helps out. But yeah, so as we know, stemming back from last summer when it was announced that the White House card was going to be a thing, Dana White has non stop been hyping it up to be the greatest thing ever. This is going to make the sphere look like a nothing. It's going to make the sphere look like a cardboard box compared to what we're going to do at the White House. You know, the fans are going to be, it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be once in a lifetime. This will be the best thing we've ever done. And it's just, that hasn't been true. That has literally been a lie. Because the card that we got that was revealed last night is not living up to those expectations. I'm going to tell you why. Obviously, Topuria Gaethje, that's a good fight, but I had said before, it's not like a actual for a White House or the White House standard, like Dana White was hyping up to be. Because essentially, obviously it's Topuria, and obviously Topuria is like a massive name, and Gaethje's like a big name in himself. But it's just another standard title defense, if that makes sense. It is just a standard unification. It's not a super fight. The biggest thing about the White House card is that Dana White was hyping up to be super fights, and that's not true. That Topuria Gaethje is not a super fight. It's just another defense for Topuria, or title defense for Topuria. So, or I'm gonna go through the fights just now, and I'm gonna say for each one why if it's good or not or whatever, and I'll say what it should have been. So Topuria Gaethje, it's a good fight, but I don't think it's like a main event for like something like this. Pereira Gan, it's a good fight. However, it's not. You know, everyone was saying like Pereira John Jones, like Pereira Jones, like it's gonna be the main event or something like that. Like John Jones is coming back, gonna fight Pereira, or like even Pereira Aspinall, but obviously Aspinall was injured. But Pereira Jones was the kind of the rumored, or not rumored, but it was the kind of speculated main event that the UFC would try and put together. And even Dana White said that he didn't want John Jones on the card because John Jones is like a liability because he might pull out last minute or something like that because he's spontaneous and reckless, and we all know who John Jones is. So Dana White said at the press conference last night that he didn't even want to put John Jones anywhere near the card. So that was never happening. Pereira Gan though is like a good fight because it's going to be a stand-up fight, which actually benefits Pereira. Like Gan's never is Gan even shot takedowns before? I don't think he has. I don't think Gan's ever shot a takedown. So this is going to benefit. Pereira's going to win this because Gan does not really have that much power. Pereira's going to win, I think. But this is like it's an all right fight. It's not a super fight. It's not a Pereira Jones or Pereira Aspinall or whatever. So because Gan's like, does anyone even like Gan? I don't. I don't really like him. So yeah, but it's a good fight, but it's not a White House fight. You know what I mean? And then this is where the card just really starts to look bad. Why is Eamon Zahabi? Why is Eamon Zahabi in the feature fight against O'Malley? I understand having O'Malley there. Why is he fighting Zahabi? Why is he fighting? Zahabi has no uh there's no reason he should be there. Why is he on this card? Do O'Malley Sandhagen. You should be doing O'Malley Sandhagen. That's a good fight for the card because everyone wants to see those two fight. And they've chosen Zahabi. I don't know if the UFC were thinking. Actually, no, they're not because I was gonna say maybe like let's not put two Americans together, but they've already done that. It's there with Nicol Dawkins, which I'll get to. Um, yeah, so I don't know why Eamon's a habit. Yeah, and let me save before all these are good fights, like in their own right, but they're not. They're like I've seen pay per views look better than this card. Like see remember pay per views back in like 20 whatever 2019, 2020, 2021, where you get three title fights. You get three title fights, and then the card was also good too. Like the the two just bouts, normal bouts would be good too. And that's not a thing. The only other takeaway from this card is that there's no women's fights, which I'm very pleased of. They kind of cooked with that part because thankfully there's none because I don't think everyone wanting to be having a bathroom break, a toilet break during the White House card where there's only what 6 fights. So thankfully they haven't done that. So that's the one saving grace on the card. But yeah, anyway, Rufy Chandler. This is probably the best the best fight that's not the title fights because everyone knows Ruffy, or most people do, and everyone knows Chandler, and everyone knows Chandler's a good fight, like a really entertaining fighter. So is Ruffy, so this would be a good fight. This is probably my favorite fight of the non-title fights. If that makes sense. So that's a great fight. I actually do like that fight. But yeah, you could have had like Chandler versus Colby or something like that. Like obviously, I'm not complaining this fight, as I said, but you want those as maybe not. Maybe Colby's kind of falling off. Maybe I'm being too quick to do that. I'm thinking more just big names. I guess Hoofy's big enough name, so I'm actually okay with this one. Nicol versus Dawkins. This one is like controversial. Like obviously, Bo Nickel is on the main card. He did get a head kick knockout last time. He has like so hopefully he does the same thing, whereas like he's improved the striking a lot and stuff. And Dawkins was not in the UFC like a year ago or like whatever it was like a year and a half ago because he got cut, and now he's back and now he's like finishing people. So I'm kind of skeptical, but it's like Dawkins again. Nickel, maybe he should be in the White House card, maybe because it's Bo Nickel, like name value or whatever. And he did get a head kick last fight, so that was pretty good. But Dawkins, he just came back after getting cut. Like I don't know. I know that he's kind of only there to fight Bo Nickel, but it's like you could have done Bo Nickel versus someone else. Do Bo Nickel versus who's good at middleweight that could fight that would make sense, or is like a decent name at middleweight. Um, I'm not sure, but you could have had a better name. Anyway, and then Lopez Garcia. Lopez is fine on there. Garcia, I've seen people saying they have no idea who Steve Garcia is. I obviously know who he is, and he is a great fighter. He's like really fun to watch. But should he be on the White House card? Probably not. Because and that's kind of all the fights. Like Lopez, yes, should be there. But that's all the fights because I remember, and maybe some of you do too, that they were saying there's going to be all title fights, like, like 5 title fights on the card, and I thought that too because like they had or sorry, Ilya, no, sorry, Ilya. They had Holloway versus Oliveira as like the sole BMF fight on a card, and I'm like, all right, maybe they're reserving some space for more title fights on the White House card. Because I'm thinking, I remember John Anik said there might be like 5 or 6 or 7 title fights on the White House card. Like it might just be all title fights. And because of all this, it is just an absolute letdown. Like not having these big names. Like what happened? Like everyone was like. When Dana White started saying all the thing about the White House card last year, everyone was thinking we're gonna get like Topuria Makachev with an undercard of like Jones Pereira and McGregor Chandler, or McGregor like Holloway or something like that. And it's like just massive names and like massive names in the UFC, and it's like that just hasn't happened. Like I'm sure you all have seen like the like people will put together like concept of a White House card from like a couple months ago, and it's literally just like all the big names, and that's literally what Dana White was hyping up to be because they were unrealistic. Like the cards you'd see people make would look unrealistic. You think like they'd never do that, but it sounded or it made sense when you heard Dana White talk. If you heard Dana White talk like for the last couple months about the White House card, you think that's the kind of cards with or the kind of cards they'd be putting together with like massive names, like you know. And it is just a letdown, and it is just reinforcing the idea that Dana White really doesn't care about the UFC anymore, and it's not. He's just lying to the audiences, like, and it's really annoying. And it's like he said as well about they're not even trying to get McGregor, or they were talking to McGregor, but it's like they've been talking to McGregor for the last 10, or sorry, the last 4 years. It feels like obviously McGregor pulled out the fight like 2 years ago, but it's like why you not try to get him on a. But McGregor should really be on the White House card as well. Like even if he's not in the main event, he should be on there. It would make sense. So yeah, but that's all I have to say about the White House card. I don't like it very much. Don't get me wrong, it'll be a great card, but it's not the White House card that Dana White was building up to be. But yeah, so if you disagreed, please comment below. Let me know what you think, and like and subscribe really helps out. And I will see you later. Bye.